What's up, everybody? Your boy is back, fully recovered from Cuba. Your boy was gone for quite a while. I was in Cuba with a few guys enjoying ourselves, and I have the guy that I actually traveled with, Mr. VlogTrippin. What's up, man? Welcome to the show. He'll be my co-host for tonight. What's up, VlogTrippin?
Mic check. What's up, guys? What's up? This is my first live. You can call me Trini, man. You can call me shout out Trino. I definitely got shout out my country Trinidad, man. You know what I mean? But don't get it twisted. I live in America all my life, so I'm probably more American than Trini. But yo, Cuba was
based on last night, man. They were playing that soca music. You were going hard. You were jumping on every chick that I saw dancing, man.
Hey. First of all, we was in the A. This is your city, dog.
Hey, guys, they were playing soca music. This dude got into his Trini form. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's a Trini. That's a Trini right there.
Nah, the Ampiano was definitely the Ampiano was popping, man. Ampiano, the Afro beats. Yo, shout out to my man Bacchus. Yo, what up, Bacchus B? I see you, man.
Yeah, man. So, hey, you're hosting your first live, man, and you actually decided to do this co-host, guys. This is last minute, guys. We were just talking shit earlier, and we felt like, hey, you know what? Hey, let's just jump on and do a live. And he wants to host it. He wanted to have his first live, so now we're actually doing a live stream. So, guys, this is an open platform, real talk, real travel talks with VlogTrippin. If you guys want to join the conversation, you're more than happy to do that. We want to talk about all things travel, all things business, all things relationship. And again, just men living their best lives. So again, welcome everyone. Make sure to subscribe to VlogTrippin. I met VlogTrippin while in Trinidad, not Trinidad, in Thailand, in fucking Bangkok.
Soon come.
Yeah. Hey,
soon come. Yo, shout out to Bert Ross, man. I see he just did a little super chat, man. Shout him out, man. Bert Ross.
All right. What? I got a super chat. Wait, hold up. This is my first super chat. Oh my God.
First of all, I got you the super chat. So you need a super chat. So I jump on your channel.
So I got to split the damn $4.99. So I got to split the $4.99. All right, hey Bert, thank you for that super chat, and I'll make sure I split that $4.99 with VlogTrippin. Even though I bought his ass a drink last night, 2 drinks cost me $50 last night in Atlanta.
Yo, yeah, man, you overpaid. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna handle your admission. He was like, I'll get you a drink. Yeah, I won on that
one. You know what? I was saying that to myself, like, wait, the admission was only $10, but yet my 2 drinks cost $50. Guys, partying in Atlanta is super expensive, man. 2 drinks came to $50, man. So it was crazy, man. But yeah, last night, me and Trini decided to hit up this Black Tech after party in downtown Atlanta and Buckhead, and it was a nice turnout, man. A lot of women there. We actually sat at a table with some girls, and we had a variety of different conversation about relationship, single life, dating, and life in Atlanta and everything else. So definitely it was a great time last night, guys. Just because you ain't traveling, you still got to live a life in your home city. So go out, enjoy yourself, but just be mindful of your pockets, because last night 2 drinks cost me $50. That was insane.
Let me see. Yo, Bacchus asks if what can $50 get you in Cuba? I think how much we paid, was it 15,000 pesos?
15, yeah, pesos. So that was about
to get a bottle. Calculate that, man.
Because 22,000 pesos in Cuban was $100. So 15,000. So I think we paid about $60 for a full bottle with the
$75.
$75. So $75. We got a bottle. What was it, Jack? It was some type of rum.
Nah, with vodka.
It was vodka. Okay, it was Absolute vodka.
Yeah.
There you go. I remember it was Absolute vodka for $75 with all the fixing. They give you all the sausage and eggs and whatever on the side. It's just weird, man. But well, anyway,
some fruit, some lemons, all of that.
But guys, I want to give you guys a little history and how I met Trini. And again, Trini is part of my Facebook group, Black Man Travels. And he found out I was going to Thailand, and he was actually living in Thailand. So I was like, hey, I'm flying to Bangkok. So we met up in Bangkok. But here's the thing, guys. You remember when I was crying about losing my bag? So Trini was there to help me find clothes and freaking in Bangkok. So we're walking around finding some tight ass clothes for me to wear. And because of Trini, he actually helped establish my Bangkok for the first 2 days or the first 24 hours. He showed me around. We had a great time, and he actually helped savage my trip. I'm gonna give, I'm not gonna lie, and I want to say thank you right now to Trini for just being there for me, because that was my first day in Bangkok, and the fact that you were able to help me find clothes and still went out and kick it like we did. I just want to say thank you for that, man.
Word, we went to the rooftop. Yeah. Yeah, I had to style him, y'all. I had to style him. So I don't know if you guys know, in Thailand, first of all, this guy's a very big guy. You know what I mean? I normally wear extra large. So I'm sure he's like a double XL. And finding extra large in Thailand is a struggle. Because even if it says extra large, it's not extra large. Right? So we had to go through at least 2 malls searching to get this guy right, because he only had the clothes on his back. When I mean talking about from socks to underwear, we had to go find double XL and double XL American standards, not double XL Asian standards. That's 2 different things. Even down to kicks. We was trying on kicks. We got some fly Yeezys.
Yeah, we got the Yeezys. You know what? The thing is, I felt so insecure wearing that outfit, because I had to tell him, yo, this shit's snugging me real tough, man. He like, you be all right, man. You in Thailand, you be all right. So we walking around Thailand, and I got like some really mediums on me, man. I'm like, damn. But we went out and still had a good time. We went out and still had a great time, man. So definitely want to give your flowers to you today, VlogTrippin Trini, for helping me out. Because again, that was like a really tough situation on the first day of Thailand, and you actually helped savage that. So just want to say thank you, man. That's what it's for, man.
Man, you're more than welcome, man. It was my pleasure, man. I just happened to be in Bangkok, and I was like, yo, let's do this, man. Let's get you right, bro. Let's hang out, let's chill, let's give back. You was going all over the place too, so I was glad you came to my side. I'm like, all right, cool, bet. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And the funny thing is, we ended up meeting up again in Pattaya. So when we met in Pattaya, we just went full time, man. Yeah. Hey, do you want to talk about how you met these 2 African chicks and on the fucking what's that name of that strip in Pattaya?
Walking Street, man.
Walking Street, man. Go and tell that story. What happened, man? Because you said I was kind of cop blocking. I mean, I wouldn't say he was cop blocking me. I just think that you was trying to walk ahead. You know what I mean? He saw them black chicks and he was like, nah, I came here for the ties. That's what you gave off, the vibe you was giving off. So long story short, we was heading to 808. 808, if you don't know, is, to me, in my opinion, my experience in Thailand, it's the best hip-hop club for black men in Thailand, hands down. Nothing in Bangkok I went to was better. It's the best club in Pattaya for us, for our people. So on the way there, we saw some black women. Now, I'm one of the few guys that, I'm not really with the Thai chicks 100%. Nothing towards them, but I'm stuck on stupid. You know what I mean? So in Thailand, being there so long, I have no choice but to holler to every black woman I see that's attractive. And we saw these 2 attractive women there, and I'm telling this guy, slow down. Let's kick it with them a little bit. You know what I mean? And when I look around, he's far ahead of me. He's like at least 10 feet, not more than 10 feet, probably 20 feet ahead of me. And I'm trying to convince one of the young ladies to hang out with us. So I'm trying to call him back because she also has a friend with her. I'm like, yo, let's do the tag team wingman thing. You know what I mean?
And
Yeah.
it's funny how that worked out because the girl I was talking to, you end up with anyway.
Yeah.
Long story short, you know, we did our things. We hanged out with these young ladies. We had drinks. We had dance partners for the night. Everyone's looking at us. We also had local Thai women trying to get in between us and our black beauties. It was definitely one for the books. And then we end up leaving 808 and walking the whole goddamn walking street all the way down the beach road.
To like 4:30, like 4:30, man.
Like 4:30 in the morning. It was that kind of night.
Yeah, and the ladies were really cool. They actually lived in Bangkok. One, they were both teachers. One was from Ghana, and the other one was from South Africa. So me and Trini, we ended up linking up with both of them and just did our thing and just had a great night. And again, guys, it was a great, clean night. Like we went out, enjoyed each other's company, had a variety of different conversations about life and traveling and so forth. And of course, you know,
Listen,
I was trying a little extra to see whatever. Yeah. These women were gorgeous, man.
From the motherland. So yeah, and they could dance, bro. They was tearing it up.
Yeah, they were throwing that ass.
He was right there. He was right there with them. It was a good night. You know what I mean?
It's kind of interesting, man. Oh, Fearless, man. What up, man? Hey, do you want to join the live, Fearless? Hey, guys, shout out to Fearless. Make sure you follow him on YouTube. He's one of our older brothers that was out there in Cuba with us.
Shout out to Fearless. My man said when the match is happening, bro.
Hey, we're gonna have it soon, man. I'm back. I'm feeling definitely 100% better again, man. I was dehydrated like hell, man. But guys, definitely shout out to Fearless, man. This man actually helped enhance our travel in Cuba.
Shout out
man.
to Fearless, the wifey, man. Shout out to the wifey, bro.
Man,
you know, tell her I still want the cousin. You know what I mean? Like, make it happen. You know, tell her I'll leave my travel life for a good wife. How about that?
Hey, I'll tell you this, guys. You know, there's a saying like, "Don't bring sand to the beach." Man, let me tell you this: Fearless has an amazing, beautiful, smart wife, Dominican, and she saved us on a lot of occasions. She was like
several times.
And she was the
MVP.
Yes, she was the MVP of the trip. There you go. I'm gonna just say it. Yo, Fearless, your wife was the MVP of this trip, man. She saved us in a lot of ways. She actually made the trip more enjoyable, and the energy that she brought into the table with a bunch of guys was amazing. So shout out to you, Fearless. Shout out to your beautiful wife. Right?
She was a translator, negotiator, director, photographer.
Yep.
You know what I mean? She was on it without missing a beat, without asking. She was there helping choose food, the menu. You know what I mean? Negotiating the taxes in Cuba could be kind of crazy. Just like, no, you know, even down to some of the women, you know, she gonna pick them out for you. You know what I mean? So it was, MVP.
Yo, I mean, she even like, I think we were at the Cuban Art Factory, this warehouse in Cuba in Havana. It was her suggestion to actually get those bartenders to come to stand up on the table and start pouring drinks on us. At first I was like, I ain't doing that, man. Next thing I see Fearless doing it, I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. So I did it. Fucking ORD did it. King of Dreams did it, and she's like egging everybody on and bringing all the women towards us to like support us taking these damn headshots.
And I was on a dance hall somewhere when this is going on.
Yeah. Your ass always going. Yo, you always go missing, man. It's like he's somewhere in this building.
Yeah, I went to the hip hop section, man, and you know those, you know me. I like music, man. I like to go. I'm not a big dancer, but I like to dance with the ladies. And the ratio was crazy in there. First and foremost, it was like 8-1.
Yep.
8-1 women to men. The women were outnumbering us, and they were beautiful.
Yep.
So, I could only chill with the guys for so long. You know what I mean? So, it is what it is.
And the thing is, guys, like the energy that we brought with us everywhere we go, people felt that positive energy. Like we were there to have a good time. There was no ego tripping. It was like, hey, listen, we're here to learn, here to take it all in, but also too, we're here to have a great time. So it was a great experience. We're actually going to do a live next week, highlighting our Cuba experience. We're gonna have Fearless, gonna have King of Dreams. Next week I'm gonna set it up. So we're gonna have everyone who actually went to Cuba with us to actually share their experiences. We're gonna show you pictures, videos, you know, and everything else. So guys, definitely stay tuned for next week. We ain't just talking about traveling, we actually live it. So we definitely be showcasing a lot of our receipts when we out there, man. But damn, shout out to you.
We was outside. We was outside in a communist country.
Yeah.
Yo, Bacchus, she's more than a helpmate, bro. Yeah, you'll like her. You'll like her for sure.
Yeah. I mean, again, I'm not against bringing sand to the beach, guys. You guys know me. I've done vacation trips where I really enjoyed my time with a company of a beautiful woman that is smart, that understands traveling. It's nothing wrong, guys. There's nothing wrong you traveling with a beautiful woman that wants to have a good time with you. This whole notion that, hey, just go out there and just do your thing. But like, yeah, it's cool. But sometimes, man, you got a shorty that got your back and has your best interest, man, dude, go out and enjoy life with her. I'm not against that. What about you, Trini? I know, you know.
Me and myself, I'm definitely a big advocate for a vacation. I think it's the quickest, easiest way. I wouldn't say easiest way, but the fastest way to get to know somebody, because you get to spend time with them. You get to be in a foreign country, and you have to depend on each other. This is not a situation where you could be independent. You have to be codependent of each other, and I think that lets me know what type of woman this particular person is. So it's kind of like a pressure makes diamond kind of situation, because it's you and her literally against that country. Yep. You know what I mean? We are each other's lifeline. So I'm a big proponent for that. And once she's not the type that's gonna take away, then you're straight. You know what I mean? So I know some men have some horror stories. You know, you go on the vacation with the wrong woman and it's a disaster. Y'all gotta get different rooms, y'all gotta dip. You know what I mean? She throw a tantrum. You know what I mean? You know, I think it's because she don't got no skin in the game that happens, but that's a whole nother topic. But yeah, I'm a proponent, you know, bring your bae along, you know, it's all part of the experience you're trying to get.
I mean, guys, I've been saying this for quite a while. I've taken several vacation trips and I see a lot of value in it. And again, just don't take anybody. Bring someone that actually deserves to go with you, that you have that level of respect and consideration to have them be by your side. I would not recommend you taking someone that you just met or you starting to get to know. Don't do that. Like, really take the time to vouch for that person and understand that, hey, listen, this person may make or break your trip. Are you willing to take that chance? But again, if you take the time to actually get to know the woman and really know her interests, and, you know, and able to, you know, and able to have a great time with her, you'd be okay. So I always recommend a vacation. And again, in the case like Fearless and his wife, I mean,
you know how you guarantee you know how you get behavior. Make sure she bring her half. Trust, women hate to waste money. So best believe it, she gonna get her money's worth, and she might demand you drop them drawers because she paid for her half a trip. So she want to get full service. So I find when you eliminate that, the trip goes 99.9% the way it's supposed to go. Now, if you want to treat a woman sometimes, I think that's when it becomes a little, if you don't know her well, you know, come a little rocky because she don't got skin in the game, you know what I mean? So she ain't paid for nothing. You know, she don't got to be in her best behavior. She ain't wasting nothing. If she want to dip early, she can just get her flight and roll out. You know what I mean? So
I agree. And by the way, guys, we have 11 people on the live stream, and I appreciate you taking the time to listen to this live stream on a Saturday night. So if you can, and it's free, can you make sure to like the video? We definitely promoting VlogTrippin. This is his first live, guys. So make sure to subscribe to him. Make sure you like the video, and so we can actually help blow up his channel, because VlogTrippin, he has receipts. Again, a lot of you guys know I don't care for Passport Bros, but this brother right here, he has receipts. Hey, we're gonna talk. It's Real Talk Saturdays, man. Is what it is.
Yo, shout out to the Fly Boy Wade, man. I definitely checked out your channel. I definitely took some of your advice about the Cuba trip. You know what I mean? I definitely took some points. So definitely shout out to you, man. You got a lot of receipts. You got a lot of videos. So I'm sure you well traveled. And I know exactly what you mean about your experience, and I can't wait to share how we had ours.
Yeah, definitely shout out to Flyboy Wade. This is one of the gentlemen that I've been following for quite a while. His resume speaks for itself, guys. Again, He's not a talker, he's a doer. He actually leads the pack in showing receipts, and he actually sat us down and gave us the 401 on Cuba. So he made sure that we were, fully aware and knowledgeable as far as what to come and what to happen. So definitely want to give you your flowers, Mr. Flyboy Way, my bad. Thank you for definitely putting us on game and making sure that we were good to go for Cuba, because we definitely had a great time. 4 days, we went super hard. I came back home dehydrated and sick for 4 days. So we did it. So definitely thank you, man.
Yeah, I was.
Anyway,
great. I was good.
But guys, make sure.
You're right, Bacchus. Quality sand, man. I like that. I might have to coin that term. You could bring quality sand to the beach.
Quality sand. Okay, I see that.
Quality sand.
Guys, if you have not subscribed to, no, it's all good, man. This is a free flowing conversation, man. If you have not subscribed to VlogTrippin, make sure to check him out. This man is traveling the world. Just a couple of months ago, he was in Kenya and Tanzania. Did you go to Tanzania as well?
I didn't get to go to Tanzania, but on my Africa journey, I do want to go back. I want to go to more African countries. I've been to Kenya, Ghana, and Egypt, and they all were well worth it. Well worth it. And a little bit undiscovered from I guess the mainstream, but there's a lot in Africa, and especially in those particular countries I went to. It was, I'm not gonna put into words the experience. It's deep. I don't want to get into it, but Africa is like it's a lot. It's like emotional. There's some spiritual aspect to it, and the nightlife, the women, the air, the food. Like I'll go off on a tangent, man.
No. Hey, this is Real Talk Saturdays, guys. We'll probably do this on a weekend basis. Definitely just have open, candid conversation about our travels, about men life, and everything else. And I can say for myself, when I went to South Africa and back in 2018, South Africa became the #1 country at the time, because just the overall experience is so undescribable. You can't describe it, man. Like I tell guys, just go, hit the motherland and get that. You will not get this feeling you get in Brazil. Like the continent of Africa is a whole different vibe, whole different energy. Hence, you see Austin Holloman doing this thing in Africa now, and see how much he's praising it. Africa is just a whole different experience. So if you have not experienced Africa yet, guys, there are 54 countries there, man. Pick a country, go, make sure there's no civil unrest, and go and visit it. So you'll be all right, man.
I was in Kenya for some protest days, man. It was a little crazy. And definitely I would say for Ghana, you go to that slave castle, man, and I don't think if you're black, you're gonna come back a different person, or at least a different outlook in life. You go to that slave castle, you see what your ancestors, no matter what part of diaspora you're from, a lot of us come from those slave castles. So you get to see what they went through, and it's gonna change you.
Out of the 3 countries you've been to in Africa, you mentioned Ghana, Egypt, and Kenya. Which country would you say, based on tier, which is 1, 2, or 3? How would you rate those 3 countries?
Kenya is
based on
one.
Your experience. Kenya's number 1.
Kenya's
Why?
number 1. Kenya's number 1 because I felt I could blend in and get like a more local experience, a more local culture experience. I find people were easier to talk to. People were helpful. The area itself, you can move around in Kenya by yourself. You can get an Uber, or you can get a Grab. You can go to restaurants. You're more or less safe, even though there's a lot of people on the street that might be difficult for us from coming to America, where there's not that many people on the street, but it can get really crowded, and that may be a lot for some people. But for Kenya, I think I could blend in. I could walk around. People might ask you some money here and there, but I feel like I'm part of the culture. I could assimilate easily. That's probably a better thing. Mm-hmm. Okay,
and which is your number 2?
Ghana is number 2. Egypt, I only spent 10 hours in Egypt, by the way. So, I would just tie, Egypt third, just because I didn't get to fully explore it. Ghana's number 2 because their parties are, they party to the morning, 4 or 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning. They still partying. You know what I mean? So I'll say they parties are probably top tier. Probably, I would say, better than most of the parties in America. It's bananas. You know what I mean? But I think for Ghana, what I didn't like, just to make it short, was that they can kind of smell that you're American or that you're not from Ghana just by, you know, the clothes you wear and things like that. So it's a little daunting that you walk around and you kind of get a mini celebrity. And I didn't like that because I couldn't really, no matter where I went, I couldn't really blend in daytime or nighttime. So I didn't like, I couldn't really get that local experience. You know, some people will start following you, you know, everyone trying to, I mean, this happens to a lot of different places that you go to. People just always trying to, you know, get a little hustle on, you know, they open the door for you, they want to get a tip, you know, things like that. But yeah, it was still great though. I'll definitely go back.
Okay. For me, South Africa was just an amazing experience.
No, I didn't see
What happened?
Hold on. Bacchus wrote, just don't twerk on the slave castle, bro.
Oh, yeah.
I did not see anyone disrespecting the slave castle when I was there. It was a very somber moment. I don't know how they can, you know, take that as opportunity to, you know, people celebrate things in different ways, but nah, I didn't witness none of that.
Yeah, I actually saw that video, man. I was like, man, that's kind of like not the right place to twerk, knowing that what happened to our ancestors back then. Yeah, it was just not a good look for all four of them to actually twerk on top of the damn castle. That's crazy.
I mean, some look at it as some type of empowerment, you know, like they get to. I'm conflicted. I wouldn't do that, you know what I'm saying? But you know, people celebrate things in different ways, so it's like that's the way you choose to do it.
Hey, is what it is, man. But dude, let's spice up the conversation, man. You know, there's some things that's going on in these YouTube streets and these Facebook group streets, guys. I came across it, and for the guys who are part of my Facebook group, Black Man Travels, I posted a image that actually showcased. We're gonna use certain code words, guys. So be smart. You know, pay for play, P for pay. I mean, P for P. So there's a going rate that's happening right now in Colombia, particularly in Cartagena, where there's a WhatsApp groups being floating around where the women in these countries have unionized their price points, and it wasn't like this before. And now I think what the rate is going for, like for 1 hour is $150 US, 24 hours is $700.
Yeah, I don't think we should be mentioning rates, but there's a rate sheet.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's keep it clean. But I just want to be descriptive as possible because right now it's just like it's amazing how they've become unionized to the point where it's kind of unexplainable how this happened within a matter of 3 years. So I want to know who's the blame for this. Does the Passport Bros take the blame for this, or Passport Pookies take the blame for this? Like, what's changing? What's causing the high inflations of these countries? Or Americans are actually doing that because they just choose not to accommodate to this particular country and just feel like they could just pay everything in dollars? Like, what's causing all this? I mean, maybe you could chime in on this topic.
I mean, I would say inflation, when America goes through inflation, the world goes through inflation. So I would say inflation is definitely a huge part of it. And there is a new, you know, like since we started traveling, there's been a broader movement for people to travel in general, especially our people, Black people from diaspora. So Bach is crazy. So I understand that now there's more people coming, that there's more of a demand. So I believe it's also price, you know, going with the demand, because there's no way those prices could be what they are unless there's a demand for it. You know, so somebody's willing to pay. You know, that's my take on it from an observational point of view, of course.
Well, I mean, just to give a point of reference, I'm actually see if I could actually show the screen.
Do it like percentage wise. Be like, yo, it's 2 times or 3 times.
Well, it's Saturday night.
Get my
you guys
banned.
My first
live, I'm gonna get banned, y'all. Because this guy is so passionate.
All right. Hey,
listen, you know what? Join the Facebook group.
Definitely.
Black Man Travels. Not to get confused with Black Men Travels. You know what I mean? Yeah. Join the Facebook group. And, you know, you can see the price list over there if people are interested in that, whatever the case is. You know what I mean? Let's see what Bacchus say here. He says,
wait, hold up. This Fly Boy, Everything's costing more. There's more people going to these countries than ever before. I agree. Everything is costing up, but it gets to a certain point where inflation jumps by 1,000%. There has to be some level of accountability that, you know, whoever's doing that need to be put on blast. That's my take on it.
But Kanos, it's not one person though. So you can't say whoever. It's the masses.
And
you can't raise prices without somebody paying.
And you know exactly who I'm going to point fingers at.
Man, listen, you can't blame them. You can't blame them. You can't blame them for everything, man. You can't.
I can. I mean, shit.
It's not their fault. And you know, there's different levels. You know, they're not a monolith. You know, just like black people are not a monolith, man. People have different views, there's different levels, there's different tiers.
Guys, we were in Cuba.
You want to do this tonight? Man, you want to do this tonight?
Hey guys, we're in Cuba having an argument in the damn Airbnb, like a heated argument it was me and you, King of Dreams.
It was a spiritual debate.
Hey guys, I
didn't even start it, by the way.
Guys, we're in Havana, about to go out, hit the club, hit the nightlife. We are literally getting to a huge debate, back and forth, like who's to blame this or what type of this and this question, whatever. It was just kind of interesting. And again, guys, this is all for fun. At the end of the day, I love to see brothers out there traveling, seeing the world, but also, like you said, there's level to this. You know, there's beginner levels, and there
do you want me to post? Do you want me to post a question?
Yeah, go for it, man.
The question is: are most men traditional? Not women.
All right, wait. You know what? There's the question.
Talk about the men. Are most men, and we want to give a percentage. I think 90% of men in America are traditional by default. They don't have a choice. Society won't let them be less than traditional. And a 10%, you know, minority, negligible minority at that fact. And Kanal has a different opinion. I'm gonna let him, you know, flesh it out for y'all.
Okay, based on what I remember, what we were talking about, you did say that. I said I think today men are not traditional. They're not raised to be traditional. Today, men, I think we've become a society where being traditional is not taught anymore. It's no longer ingrained in us. And you have a lot of younger generation of men that don't know how to be traditional. They don't understand their role as a man. And that was my argument. It just based on our current society, within the Western world, most men don't know how to be traditional. And they kind of lost that natural instinct of being traditional. That was my take, and we kind of went back and forth. I mean, hey guys, what do you guys think? You know, and again, if you want, do you want me to open the forum to invite other guys into this live stream as well?
Yeah, why not? I mean, let's pick a topic though. I want to be all over the place, but yeah, like we can have that discussion. We can rehash that discussion. Are most men today traditional? What percentage you think it's by, and why? You know what I mean? So Kanal says most men are not taught. I'm saying society won't let you, even if you weren't taught, society gonna teach you. You're gonna learn the hard way. No one's giving men a pass, especially our men. No one's giving black men a pass for nothing. You know, we have the most responsibility with the least control. It's ridiculous. Okay,
we got a comment from Roland. Yes, most men are traditional by nature, but they are raised by women. Flip that around. What are your take on that?
Yeah, we can't argue with it. I agree.
Now, you remember last night at the party, at the rooftop party we attended here in Atlanta, you were talking to the ladies. Did you ask that same question, or was it any question similar to that, or?
We were discussing.
Oh, that out.
What up? Yo, what up, fellas, bro? What up?
What up, Phyllis, man? You live, bro? What's going on?
Yes. What's up, brothers? How y'all doing?
I'm doing good, man. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We can hear you, man. Yeah, welcome
So
to the live stream, man. You know, we're just having real talk conversation.
I
All
want
things
to interrupt
travel.
on that. We had that conversation inside of a Cuban
oh
cafe.
right,
So
that's
I will
right.
let
We rehearsed it
dictate this.
again the following day. That's right. There was a follow-up debate. And we got the wife involved too, if I remember correctly.
Actually, you know what? I would love to get her take on that. I mean, Phyllis, if you don't mind.
What's the question? Come here. She's
Go ahead. Go ahead.
The question is,
are men in the United States traditional?
yes, the majority. Can't say everybody. Can't use the word all.
Or United States men in the United States
majority.
traditional?
No, I don't think so.
Thank
Why
you.
not?
Okay, well, how much percent and why?
Why not? she done lost her. She lost her nerve now. You don't want to back it up.
But I don't think so. They are.
So what I stated was, I have to agree with Trippin because we still pay for dates. We are still expected to provide. If you take a girl out and you're like, hey, let's split 50-50, she's going to look at you crazy. So those are the traditional values that we still have to have. We have to provide, protect, lead. If you're not leading, they look at you as though you're weak or a simp. So we are still expected to be traditional. I think the people that have changed are the women. They have become less traditional.
Okay. So,
I agree.
do you think due to societal change or shift,
Single women.
Can today women handle a traditional man?
No, single women. So this is what happened. And this is my opinion, and I've lived it and I've seen it. Some mother who was a side chick has a kid. She has a daughter. Now, because she's a side chick, she becomes angry at men. And when she has this daughter, she teaches this daughter, you don't need a man, because she acted like she didn't need a man. You're independent. You can be without a man, and you can be a strong, independent woman. That's how she raises the daughter. In turn, that same single woman raises a man or a boy, and she protects him. She coddles him. She doesn't let him grow up. She treats him like a child throughout his whole life. He does not have any men mentors. He cannot understand what it is to be a man. He only sees being a man from a woman's eyes. So he's emotional, he's feminine. And so when he gets out to the world, you have this independent woman who says, I don't need a man. And if she comes in contact with someone like me, who an alpha man, we're going to spar, because I either have to break her or I just can't deal with her. And so that means if I'm arguing and constantly trying to fight and trying to break a woman, that's not something that I need in my life. So what happens is that same woman, she goes to a non-traditional weak man because she can overrule him. She can control him. He's accustomed to being controlled by women because his mother has controlled him his entire life. He doesn't know anything different. So that's how society has changed, that we've grown. We've gotten these women who have become strong, or they say strong, that they don't need a man, that they don't need any of that. And that comes back to a mother who has been scorned. So I think the only way you can, that's why I think if you are dating, you need to date a woman who had a mother and father in her life, so that she can see these are the roles of a man and these are the roles of a woman. Not saying that one is weaker or stronger. We're just different and have different roles.
Okay. Oh, I want to take a moment to acknowledge two other guys that joined the live stream. What up, Flatboy? How you doing, man? I can't hear you, bro. We can't hear you. Yeah, your mic.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy FRE $H Fresh at the Flyboy Way. That's TheFlyBoyway. Don't ask why. Just check out the channel. What's going on, Black Man Travels? What's going on, everybody?
Hey, what's going on, man? Thank you for definitely joining the live, man. We wanted to say thank you again for getting us up to speed for Cuba, man. Your notes and your observation definitely was helpful, man. So definitely want to say thank you for that.
Salute.
And also too, I want to acknowledge Roland Traveler. What's up, man? What's going on, big brother?
What's going on, brothers? How you guys doing?
Doing good,
I'm waiting
man.
to hear the report from Cuba, man. I heard y'all had
yeah. You know, we had to recover, man. We had to recover from Cuba, man.
Like
you had to recover from
I've been
Cuba.
watching it all.
You had to recover from Cuba.
You getting
Everybody
old.
else was good.
He said you're getting old, brother.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I felt my age, man. But definitely, man. Hey, Trini and Phyllis, we have this topic going on about, you know, our men or today men traditional. I wanted to get your take on it. So starting with Flyboy, do you think today men are traditional by default? Then follow with Roland.
Hold on. There's more. It's percentage and why.
Okay. I think I have a different opinion than all of you guys here. As a millennial born in 1984, I don't feel that you can be a traditional man in this new era. Because if you're a traditional man in this new era, you're not going to be accepted by the society. You're not going to be able to, well, not everybody, but the majority, let's say percentage-wise, 70 to 80% won't be able to function in the same capacity as a traditional man did when it was in the past. See, traditions change. And I know this is not a direct fact, but let me give you an example that may seem off of a movie or something. Once upon a time, giraffes had short necks. As the trees and the foliage grew, some giraffes adapted. They grew long necks so that they could be able to reach the foliage and survive. Others that couldn't adapt over generations of giraffes, they end up dying. And what all the guys in my perspective who are trying to still be this 1960s, 1970s, 1950s traditional guy are just dying off. They're ending up being super stressed out. They don't fit in the society that we have now because they're not able to adapt. They're still trying to focus onto something that does not work. And if you want to survive in this society, you have to adapt, meaning you may not be able to move with the same values that the traditional 60s, 70s man who at the time was able to just go to work and the wife would stay home and raise the kids, because that doesn't work anymore. Or was able to take his family and just control everything that his family did because he was the dominant source of the house, but that doesn't work anymore. See, a lot of people were saying, oh, these younger women are not growing up with a mother and a father to teach them all this stuff. No, it's just that the stuff that their mother and fathers teach them doesn't apply to what this generation is now. So when they're trying to do it and it's not working, and they keep ending up going with the wrong guy, their father teaches them to get a tough guy who's strong and supports his family. Then they go out and get somebody who might be a hood dude, because that's the personifications of a guy that's from the hood who has that, who doesn't have, who sometimes, because there are a lot of hood dudes that do have it, like myself, but there's sometimes they don't have that moral standpoint that your father had, but they has the strong feeling that the father taught you how to be, or the mother says, go out and get somebody who's wealthy. But the mother was fine with staying home all day while the father went out and did that. And, you know, people still believe that the fathers in the past, in the 80s and the 60s and the 50s, didn't cheat. No, they did the same thing that the fathers and the husbands do now. The only difference is it wasn't accessible to the internet. So again, trying to be a traditional man in this era is going to cause you to be stressed out. And I feel as though that's not the way to do it. The way to do it is to find what works for you and adjust your life to that manner, not try to fit this old school style that is extinct.
Wow.
God
damn.
damn.
I think it gave me a new perspective. Okay. I gotta sit with that. Let that soak in. I gotta sit with that.
Flyboy way, I have to kind of agree with you there. There's a military term, especially in the Marine Corps, it's called adapt and overcome. I grew up in the 60s. I was a traditional man. I had to adapt to the current ways of dating after being divorced, after being married for 9 years, 16 in total, being a traditional man, raising children and everything else, and now being back exposed to being in the dating world. I had to change my mentality about dating women, period, because with times change, the dating scene changes, the maturity of people, millennials change on their ideology, how they were raised. I wasn't raised the same way. So I was having to adapt, like Flyboy Way says, and pretty much feel out the lay of the land and work accordingly within my dating methodology. So I would agree with him. Most men are traditional. They still want to be provider protectors, but at the same time, you can't lead with that anymore.
Man, I disagree. I'm sorry. I disagree with all y'all.
That's not what women are looking for. I'm trying to tell you.
If y'all, they can tell you.
Baby, come on, baby, get
They can
This is hot.
they can tell you about my wife. So
Go ahead and speak, man. You got the platform, Fearless. Go for it, man. And
wait,
I lay down the road. I think this is what it is.
There's a preference where your wife is from and the way she was raised, and you know we're talking about like American.
Is this Fearless? You're a married man. I was a married man. 16
No, but here's
years.
the thing.
When I was functioning in a marriage, it's different. I'm talking about dating. If you're dating now, not married, most women, when you're dating, have a different mentality than your wife. When you're first meeting them and trying to get accustomed to who they are and identifying yourself to them, it's different than being in a marriage. I understand coming from a closed environment of being married and loyalties between being two individuals working together for a common goal. Yeah, you're going to have a different opinion being married currently. But as you get divorced and you go back out there, how
do you think I got married?
How long you been married?
I've been married 7 years, but my wife is traditional. And the reason that is because I didn't look for anything else. If I met a girl and she wasn't on that program, she gone. I just did not have time to play.
They were both traditional women. Each marriage I had, they were still traditional women.
So
it does happen.
Thing is,
I would just ask two questions.
I'm gonna give you an example real quick.
Well, real quick, I just want to ask two questions, Fearless, if I can.
Yeah.
Unless you want to go first, I'll wait.
Real quick. When I first went to college, I went to Ohio State, then I got my master's at University of Cincinnati. I came down there, and the guy that I went to high school with had come to visit me. He had moved down there. In the first week, he knew every strip club, every place to get drugs, everything. And I'm like, man, I've been living here for 4 years. I don't know any of that. That was his environment. That's what he looked for, and that's what he got. Because I never looked for that, I never found it. So the same with women. If you like I tell them brothers, they think there's only prostitutes and things when you go to Dominican Republic. If that's where you at, if you in Sosua with the hoes, that's what you got to get. I don't surround myself with those type of women. I don't communicate. When here's the rules. If you're not with it, that's fine. I'll move on. I never had a problem dating. Never had to pay for no punani. And I love it when you guys say that. Because if I got in the dating world, I'd sweep you guys alive. Because girls look for that rarity. They look for that 1%. I'm a whale in a ocean of minnows. So I stick out. They look for that alpha. They look for the man who's going to take control. It's a breath of fresh air. So y'all can stay that way, but it's the women y'all looking for. I never had an issue. Never.
All right. Now, I do want to go at what, I do want to go at what Marty said. But before I go at what Marty said, I got to kind of address what Fearless said, because he put a lot of stuff in one comment, which I would have to break apart to really break it down to him. But before I even get to that, let me get to the first two questions. I just wanted to know, Fearless, how old are you?
50.
50. So you're not from this generation or the generation before. You're not a millennial.
Generation X, as I think they label.
Okay, good. Is your wife from your generation as well?
No, my wife is 16 years younger than me.
So your wife is a millennial.
55. You already turned 56.
No, Phil. Your wife is a millennial.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what generation that is, but probably millennial. Let's say
She's how old is she?
35.
So she's a millennial. Okay.
Mhm.
Have you been married before?
No, never married.
No. Okay. So you've only been married for 7 years. And how long has the brother next to me right here been married before?
Ronan, right?
I'm not sure.
Roland, he's speaking to you.
First marriage, I was married for 7 years. I had 3 children, all grown, and I have a second marriage that was 9 years, and I raised a stepson.
Okay,
Both traditional. So
I just wanted to
this
point
is
that
the
out.
exposure I have now after going through 16 years of marriage.
I just wanted to point that out so that the viewers can see that this is a man who's been through a 7-year marriage already, who's been through a 9-year marriage already, who might have just a little bit more experience telling you from a different perspective, from the same age group that you are saying that you're from, saying that, hey, my buddy, you've only been married 7 years. Wait and see in a minute. It's a difference here.
It's not. I got my wife here, man. I tell you.
Yeah,
I'm gonna let you know.
I missed that part, but let me go back to the Marty situation, because there's so much stuff I want to get at, but I want to do the Marty. Can you put the Marty post back up about millennials? Okay, so Marty W says millennials have turned dating into a freak show. They are on some real wild-ish nowadays. Again, I mentioned earlier, the difference is back when they were still on some real wild-ish as the boomers, people who were born in the 60s and the 50s and the 40s and the 30s, the difference is there was no internet. Everything that was being done, because there was a lot of stuff being done, there was dudes having multiple families and supporting their families without their families knowing each other for the longest. This has always been going on. What the millennials had to do was we now had to adapt to the transition to an industrial revolution through modern technology. So we have to adjust everything with dating. So now that everything is not behind the scenes like it was when your granddaddy had kids that the family didn't know about. It's not like that, because everything is out and we're adjusting. And I feel as though we're adjusting good, because guess what? The marriages are, even though they're not lasting as long, they are people who are finding happiness through many other ways through the internet. So again, it all comes with being able to adapt to the times. It's not a millennial thing. It's not millennials causing this. It's not an age thing. It's just the way that you adapt to the times. Now, last thing I'll say is this. If you are planning to be in a marriage now, you are not dealing with the same situations that you did when you were getting married at your 50 or you're getting married in your 60. You can be everything in that time allows you to be the patriarch of the family, the matriarch of the family, whatever. Let you be the man of the family and run that, because the woman didn't have to work. You could provide her the life that she wanted in that time. But in this era, the majority of men cannot. And that's not a United States thing. That's not a Colombian thing. That's a worldwide thing. The majority of men cannot. So what they have to do is now the woman has to work. So if the woman has to work and she's no longer able to sit and just do the house chores and stuff that the old folk, the older generations had to do, what's the logic of thinking that she wouldn't want more privileges because she now has to do the same type of work, or at least a little bit of work that a man does? It's the logical thinking of it. So it's going to change.
I have my wife here. I'm going to ask her some questions. So she's here. Come here. Do you work 40 hours a week?
Yes.
Are you getting... walk away.
She ain't trying to get involved.
Sorry about that.
She's like, she ain't got time for this man talk.
I missed you already.
So stick to the top. So do you work 40 hours a week?
Yes.
Are you getting your master's degree?
Yes.
Am I allowed to clean the kitchen or anything in the house?
No.
Am I allowed to do laundry?
No.
Since you've been here, you work full time. Have you ever seen your paycheck?
No.
Where does your paycheck go?
To your account.
Directly to my account. Do you cook breakfast, lunch, dinner?
Yeah, before I go, I do my coffee, your tea, breakfast. Make sure you have lunch because you work from home. I take my lunch, and when I come back, we got a milkshake before we go to the gym, and then we have dinner.
So you meal prep all my meals?
Yes.
You vacuum, you make the bed before you go?
My house is my template. He's not allowed to clean anything or do anything. Not because he's not capable to do. It's because I feel that's my responsibility and my job.
When we met, did I tell you what my rules were? Did I say this is how I'm gonna be?
Yeah, we set boundaries.
So those are my boundaries. This is exactly what I wanted.
Yes.
And how many times I said, if you don't like what I do, you can leave.
Correct.
That's how I run, man. I mean, I don't care if you traditional. I don't care what generation.
Felix, hold on.
Wait, before you go into that,
let me get this.
were you born in the United States?
Stop. I was married. Let me get this.
Can you ask, was she born in the United States?
When?
Oh no, yeah, she
Repeat
was.
the question?
Were you born in the United States?
No.
Was your
Absolutely
mother and
not.
father born in the United States?
No.
Were your grandparents born in the United States?
No, but my
Last question.
grandmother
No,
from
you're not.
no.
Last question: was your great grandparents born in the United States?
No.
Okay, so let me explain to you the economical difference between women that are born in the United States and women that are born in other countries. Women that are born in the United States have a lot more freedoms to achieve the stuff that they really want by themselves. So it's not going to be the same traditional woman that you would get from a country where you don't have that freedom as a woman. If I was to go to Saudi Arabia, where women are just being able to drive, I could find this 1960s traditional woman. If I was to go to Cuba, I could find that. You know why? Because those women are not allowed to be economically as free as the women in the United States. And
See, man, this is where you.
Wait.
This is where you wrong.
Let me get in on this.
This is where you wrong. My wife
All right.
worked for the
Hey,
government of Dominican
Felix.
Republic. Her mother was a journalist.
I was no, let me tell you, I was independent in Dominican Republic. I got my property, I work for the government, and I got a good job. But I take the decision that that's not the life I want to live. That's not the life that I want to be independent. Even I make my money, being like have all the pressure in my shoulder. They have the house and pay the bills and all this economic things. And as a woman, we're not good. Like how you say, administrate the money. Like taking care of the money because we love to spend money.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa! It's in the Dominican Republic. You're saying that because that's not in the United States.
No,
Well,
women.
my wife
period.
makes
Women.
$65,000
Stop.
a year.
American,
She make
it
her
doesn't
own
matter.
money.
It doesn't matter. Women, period, are not good economically on handling money. Period.
No,
when I was in my
correct.
marriage, it's the same thing.
No, that's
Same
correct.
thing.
But I'm saying
I
he's saying
managed
that
the money. I
he's
managed
saying
the
that
money. I
it's
did the
because
work.
of-
My wife stayed at home too. So fearless. What you have is an understanding with your wife, and we've had this conversation in other podcasts where you have to have a clear understanding when you get married with your wife. Okay, what the roles were or the roles are in your household. Okay, me and Fearless are older. I'm 55. I had that. In each marriage I had, we had an understanding on what her roles, clear defined roles, and an understanding on how the relationship was going to function. Never had a problem in that area. The difference even in an American woman, if you have that understanding before you get into a relationship to get married, it's going to be a different situation. The only thing is, and what I'm trying to make you understand, Fearless, is the dating scene. To find that traditional woman, it's harder now. Okay, it's not like it used to be. Even 7 years ago, it's not the same. I've been divorced for 6 years. Just got out of that 9-year marriage. Okay, and the only thing that changed in that was she grew up in a traditional household. I ran the house. I helped raise her son. She did whatever she wanted in the household. I went out and made all the money. Okay, we had these understandings. She just never was exposed to the world, and her family got involved in it, and that's what caused us to break up. I never did anything wrong in either one of my marriages. Both
So
my
tell
wives
me-
wanted me back.
You
So
tell me, 'cause
what I'm telling
you know
you
that I've
is
been out of the dating game long because I still go out. I understand.
it's different
What-
though
what
when
is
you're
the
married.
difference?
If you're in
Tell me what's the
commit,
difference
if you're
with
in
the women.
committed relationship, it's different. You can go out without the same intentions. So clearly, when I was married, I hung out. I was in the military. Okay, it wasn't the same thing. I wasn't going out to meet. I wasn't going out to date or court or find somebody to get intimate with that way. So it is clearly different when you're married and going out versus when you're single and going out. So you can't use that.
My question then is, you're saying it's a different world out there. Can you
It
please
absolutely is.
explain to me how the women have changed, and they're not, I guess, traditional. And they're
Real
not.
quick to break it down, when we were younger, the songs alone were different. It was more about love, intimacy, and different things like that. Now you got chicks out here talking about, Pound Town. These chicks are living vicariously through the goddamn songs. Okay. The media, the internet, everything is different, even in the last 7 years, that are more sexually driven and charged when it comes to even going to a club. Half the time, cancel culture. You walking up to a chick, she might be in a group where she might be more approachable and want to talk to you. A lot of them play games when they're around their friends. So it's a different culture totally, but it's also more sexual freedom.
Brother,
Chicks right now are very unemotional.
You,
Chicks right now are very unemotional about having sex one night and not having any type of commitment. That's different than
my brother. Let me interrupt you. I know that Ken was in Atlanta. I used to go to Freaknik, and I know that there was women who would have sex and didn't care about you the next day to have boyfriends.
I understand that too.
They did the same thing. The difference is they did the same thing you're talking about, but they were better at it because there was no social media to know what they were doing. If you didn't call them at home, you wasn't no cell phone you were calling them on. So the girls was doing the same thing. They was out there doing the same thing. It's just if you getting your girlfriend from Freaknik or you getting her from Spellman, that's the type of woman you're dealing with.
Here's the thing, though, man. Like, if my mother and my father we're both like, if my mother stayed home and my father stayed home, and my mother went to work, my mother stayed home, my father went to work, right? And then if I was a woman and I watched that, even if I become successful and I can work for whoever work and make as much money as I want to, I'm still not feeling comfortable because I was raised like my mother was. So a woman that can have all this is, again, when I go back to economical things in the United States, women have been able to be economically, at least women of all races, color too, have been able to be economically in charge of their own finances for the last 100 and something years. So you got generations on top of generations teaching a whole new way. In other countries, this is not happening. This is what I'm trying to tell you. It doesn't matter if the woman of this era in that country can say, "Hey, I'm making my own money, but I still want to stay home and be like this," because she's going and reverting back to where her mother did with her father, or what she see her grandmother do with her grandfather. So it's still culturally taught in those countries, because in those countries, the woman has not had the chance to be as economic. Why do you think? Somebody mentioned in the group, in the chat right now, the Mexican women are changing, the Dominican women are changing, the Brazilian women, the Colombian women, everything is changing. You know why? Because the internet is making it possible for every woman to be more economically independent. And as that comes, the traditional values of what a family is will completely change. Capitalism changes everything. You can be mad at it, you can fight against it. It's just the way life works. Now, the only way you could do it is try to get ahead of it and become a person who controls the capitalism and doesn't get emotional. But as far as thinking that you're going to be traditional now, or find that traditional woman now, or find that even it just is illogical.
You know what? This is a great conversation, but not too often that I'm able to actually have Fearless and his wife on this panel. I have a unique question that Trini and I would like to ask Fearless. If your wife is still there with you, right now, all over social media, you have a lot of content creators and non-travelers saying that you should never bring your woman from overseas back to the States. You actually did the opposite. You brought your wife from Dominican Republic to the United States. What is your take on that when guys tell other people do not bring their significant other from the States, from their country to the United States because they're going to get corrupted? I really want to get your take. And if your wife is sitting next to you, I'd love to hear her take on it as well, because this is an ongoing debate on many platforms about keeping them in their country, keeping them where they are, and not putting them in a position where they could be corrupted. So, Fearless and your wife, if you guys could go ahead and just provide your take. Flyboy, Roland, and Trini, feel free to chime in if you agree or disagree. But Fearless, I definitely want to handle the floor to you.
That's a great question. I really want to hear.
I'll go first, and then I'll let my wife go.
Yeah, definitely.
If you go to another country and you meet a girl at McDonald's, a waitress, who isn't bettering herself, is not learning English, and then you bring her here and you expect her to do those things. You expected, if she never cooked while you were there, and she never showed any initiative while you were there, she was not traditional, she was always at the clubs, please don't bring her to the United States and then expect her to be something different. If you met the woman who was not outside, was not in the clubs, who you could see that, you know, instead of going out, she wanted to cook you a traditional meal. You could see that, I'll give you an example. When I first was dating my wife, and I think I told you this story, we were at her grandmother's house. A group of my male friends were talking, so we weren't interested in eating at that point. When my wife got up and fixed her plate and her cousin fixed her plate, I didn't have Spanish down at that point, but her grandmother cussed her out. She let her know, what the hell are you doing? You always fix a man's plate first. So my thing is, you can bring a woman back, but you have to see that she's what type of woman she is in her country. Don't expect to bring her to the United States and she's gonna switch it up. My wife hated me in the beginning. She didn't speak English. And I said, you got 2 months. After that, we don't speak Spanish no more. It's English. Everything is in English. You have to learn it because that's going to make you more productive. And because of that, now we only speak English. But I'm gonna turn it over to her. And what is your feel about a man bringing his woman from a foreign country to the United States?
If you pick the right, in my opinion, and that's my personal opinion, if you pick the right one, you don't need to worry about those things because it's a lot of red flag that you can see when you're dating over there. You can see if they try to take advantage of you. You can see if they got details with you, if they nice, if they kind, if they really worry about you, or if they interested in the visa, if they interested in come here, move to the United States and take advantage of you. Those are the little things that you need to be look at it, really paying a lot of attention about. But it's about lucky in the end. If you pick, like I mentioned before, the right one, you don't need to worry about those things, but you never know. We're here today, but we don't know. Tomorrow is no promise. In my opinion.
I agree. So I'm definitely gonna open up to Flyboy, Roland, Trini. Add your 2 cents. If you guys agree or disagree with what they just said, are you against it or are you pro? So go ahead. You know what? Let me start with Trini first. Then we're gonna move on to our Flyboy. Then we're gonna move on to Roland and Fearless. Feel free to jump into the conversation again. Now this can be like you versus them. So Trini.
Mic check. All right. So I've been out the country this year into last year for like about 10 months. And I've met some amazing women from my travels from all different continents, Europe, Australia, Africa, Asia, all over. And there was one thing that this particular young lady from Russia told me. She told me, you know what I want? I was like, what? She's like, I don't want to make one decision today. I want you to make all the decisions. I just want to pick my clothes to wear. That's it. I have never heard such beautiful words come out of female's mouth in my life. This is first date, by the way. This is in Bali. I didn't even know how to receive that information. So I think what Fearless Wife said, that she chose to be traditional. And I think nowadays, most women do not choose to be traditional. So even though they're in America, even though they're across the country or outside the country or foreign or however you want to put it, you have to make sure that the woman you choose also chooses to be traditional. And you have to then roll the dice, in my opinion, that she remains traditional among the modern women that's going to be around her. So that's my take on it.
Fearless, you have anything to combat that, or are you good?
I somewhat agree. I mean, I agree that what you're saying. But it still goes down to, I'll give you a perfect example. I know a lot of guys that communicate, they go to these countries and they communicate through Google Translate. And you're sending all your messages in Spanish. And if you tell her, hey, you know, can you translate just like I'm translating and send your messages back to me in English? If she's refusing to do something as simple as that, she's not going to be the person you need. That lets me know that that woman is not willing to grow. So any woman you meet, I mean, I meet them in the United States. And if I see a woman before that just wasn't trying to grow, man, she wasn't going to be the traditional woman I looked out for. I don't think it's a luck of the draw. I think that we go to the foreign countries, like when I first went, you can't trust a big butt and a smile. I seen that big booty. I seen that smile. I seen them curves, that long hair. And I don't know, you probably never have gone to Santo Domingo, but there's a place called Las Minas. It's the straight hood. This girl was hood. I didn't know she spoke bad Spanish. It took me a while to get past the booty, get past the smile, and say, yeah, this just won't be wifey material.
Fly boy, what's your take on it?
All right. People always say that the most important years of your learning are when you're younger, because they don't change much and you learn a lot. One thing I learned in school, even before I got my degree in accounting, one thing I learned in school that has carried me through my whole life is percentage and how it works. I knew if I got a 90 or above in my class, I got an A. It's a good thing. If I got an 80 and up, I got a B. That's the okay thing. Got a 70 and up, I got a C. I passed. If I got a 60 and up, I got a D. Pause. I might pass in some classes. But I also knew if I got anything below a 60, it was a failure. And I wasn't striving to be a failure in my life. If you statistically look at marriages, just marriages in general, 43% of them fail. Fail. Do not last. Do not work. They end in divorce. They fail. It's not counting the ones that just miserable marriages and people stay because whatever reason, just the ones that just end in divorce and we fail. They don't succeed. So first, I would never get married because, again, percentages. Statistically, I know that's not the best idea to do, especially when 90% of the men that get married end up losing majority of stuff for what they have. When it comes to marrying or bringing a woman from overseas, I look at it the same way. Statistics, percentages. 70 to 75, I believe, percent of the people who bring their women from overseas, doesn't matter which country, Dominican Republic, not Puerto Rico, Cuba, Colombia, Portugal, Africa. 70% of those marriages, 70 to 75% of the marriages based on Google, end in divorce. And or relationships end in separation. 70%. I follow. There's literally no reason to ever bring, even if there's a chance that it might work once. See, that's going on emotion. See, by doing that, you're pretty much doing what a lot of men claim that women do. You're acting on emotion. You're not acting on reason, logical statistics, or percentage. So I don't suggest in my book that any man ever bring your wife or bring your girlfriend overseas to here. Not to say that it will never work, but percentagely, are we aiming for Fs now? Are we aiming for Fs? Because if you are, then hey, that's cool. But as a man, I feel as though the difference is we're almost, and I'll probably get bashed for this. I feel as though as a man, we're more able to control our emotions. We make logical decisions. So if you're going into it saying, oh, because I can speak Spanish and I was able to communicate with her, that percentage is going to change. No, it doesn't. Because I was able to get close with her family and they trust me and they provide me and they took me in and I didn't have to use Google Translate. It's going to change. No, that percentage still doesn't change. So, I mean, I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying as a man who's not emotionally controlled, who's logistically controlled, I would never suggest it.
Okay.
Now I was with you, and you can ask my wife. I was a man who was never getting married. I love to play the field. I was a high value man. I mean, even now I make close to 200,000. I was just like you. I ain't got nothing to lose. But then she said something to me. She's like, yeah, you can play out there. You can be with these women. You can have all the sex you want. But who gonna wipe your booty when you old in a nursing home?
Mm-hmm.
Who gonna take care of you? My wife, I would say, saved my life. There was a time when, I love to work out. I thought my stomach, oh man, I did some crunches, and I was in pain for like 3 days. I'm like, man, I'm in pain. I don't know what I did, what kind of workout I did. And she's like, you gotta go to the doctor. She would not. She bothered me so much. I said, look, I'm gonna take a nap, then I'm gonna go, then I'll go. I had no plans on going to the doctor. She bothered me so much that at midnight that she kept calling me. She said, I won't get off the phone with you till you go. I went to the emergency room. My appendix had burst. Then me being a man, I was strong, independent, didn't need a woman. But it's things like that that get you further. And I do understand what you're saying, but let me explain this to you. My wife can take, she takes that time for the cooking, the cleaning, doing the laundry, folding the clothes. That time that I don't have to spend doing that, I've been able to better myself. Since I've been where I've just been promoted 4 times. And when I take my wife somewhere, like we go to work functions with executives, and they say she has a different personality. Her personality is outgoing, loving, hugging, the life of the party. Executives, there was an executive when I just got my new job. He's like, I love your wife, man. I mean, she's just like so nice. And if you can marry a woman like that, you must be a good man. Promotion. So it matters the type of woman you're dealing with. If you have a person who's taking care of you, your kids, all of that, and you can focus all of your time being a better man, being more productive. So what if you get a divorce later on? If I get a divorce and she needs some money, I'm good with that. Because I went from 60,000 to 200,000. I'm all right giving her some money. I have no issue. Because I would have still been that single brother in the streets, always, fast food eating, going out, and I either be with an early grave or just not happy. I'll be the old man in the nursing home trying to mess with the nurses. So it matters where you're like. And if you look at, I'm an executive where I work at. You can't tell me any executive or any high value man that does not have a wife is looked at as that's your cornerstone. Every president that you had that there is has been married because it looks at your stability.
I agree with that because I noticed that within the corporate scene, most of the high power executives are married. My brothers.
I know you guys are probably a little bit older, so you guys didn't have the opportunity to know, what I've learned because I've been younger and I've had the internet since I was 10 years old. There's a completely different world out there. I make way more than 200,000 and not working for somebody. I own property. So, and trust me, I've never been married. I don't have a girlfriend. And the reason why I take care of my son, my son lives with me. He goes to Catholic school. And the reason why that is because I feel as though if a woman raises your son, it's not going to turn out as good as if a man raises your son. Statistically, that's proven. I think I'm not saying that your way can't work. I'm going by percentages of what has been proven to work, because not saying that it's not a way. I'll never the flyboy way is not about the only way. It's about being another way, maybe even a more statistically proven way to live life, to move around. And my brother, like, if I got to risk losing all of that money just to secure a space when I don't know that there's another way, I can't understand why I want to do that. Why would I want to go against what statistically?
Let me cut you off a little bit. Let me ask you a question. Have you seen in your life
I'm 39.
Have you seen in your life a good example of a good wife, up close and personal?
My grandmother and my grandfather were when they. Matter of fact,
Nah. That's a little too old. More recent, more relevant to your age group.
Yeah, I have my brother and his wife, amazingly great. But I don't. But again, they've only been married 2 years, so I don't know. I have never seen anybody married over 20 years. Well, not never. I've probably seen it once or twice, but married over 20 years. On the majority, no. After 10 years, after 15 years, after a kid, stuff changes.
Listen. I get the numbers, but it's like at some point in your life, you might think it's worth the risk to gain a good wife. I don't think we have many examples of good wives up close and personal. And I think if you met Fearless wife, I think you might understand.
Everything that Fearless said he couldn't do if he was older, I could buy. You guys understand what I mean by it's a capitalistic.
It's more than that. It's not. I think you're focused on losing your assets. It's more than money. It's an extra. Hold on. Let me cut you off again. Apologies. Let me cut you off. If Nia Kanal was to tell you how key, and when we say she was the MVP of our Cuba trip, she made every interaction more easier, more beautiful, more happier, more enjoyable, cheaper. I don't think we could have the good time we have without his wife. And I mean it in the most respectful manner possible. She made every situation better. I would even say a multiple of 10. Kanal, can you?
Yeah. I want to chime in. I would say, for someone like myself who planned out the trip so thoroughly that I did, what she did, she just made it. She actually enhanced it 10 times. So regardless, we're still going to go out there and have a great time. Like, real talk, we're still going to have a great time. Did everything that we wanted to do. We literally completed 95% of our itinerary, but by having Fearless and his wife there, they just made the trip more enjoyable. It just took it to another level. And again, this is my second time being in Cuba. And it was just like, you know what? And just watching her do her thing, I ain't gonna lie. I even told Fearless in his face, yo, you have an amazing wife with you. We told him.
We all told him that.
I understand that's you guys' personal experience, but there's nothing you guys are saying that I couldn't have just paid a woman to do the same thing.
Say that again, Flyboy.
I want to get Roland take on that. Roland, jump on this.
I'm saying I understand you guys had that experience and that was how it worked for you guys. But logically, what I'm telling you is that anything that you're saying that Fearless wife could have done, I could have paid a woman to do that. Anything.
True.
I could have paid.
No, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Let me chime in on that. Let me chime in.
You guys are acting as if I have enough money, I can't pay a woman to act the same way my wife.
No, brother. I'm gonna challenge you on that. I've had money. I've done pay for play, and me screwing a hoe is entirely different than screwing somebody who loves you. A girl licking my balls is good, but when a girl loves licking your balls, entirely different, brother. When she's screaming, oh, and you know it's fake, entirely different than she's saying, "Poppy, come, Poppy," and you know it's real.
So my channel gets blocked. We know why,
and it's no problem to pay for it. But sometimes the original is much better than the pay for.
Okay, if we're comparing stuff, then let's compare. If we're comparing stuff, then let's compare having the same woman over and over versus having multiple women around the world. It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. I have a woman.
That gets old real fast.
It's not the same as having the same woman. And I mean,
that gets old real fast.
Well, I mean, for you guys, it's a different generation.
Fly, let me get in here for a second. Okay. Between my marriages, I was divorced for 10 years before I got married again. Okay. But so the dating thing, it gets old after a while. You've experienced so much in your life as a man. Okay. It starts to get repetitive for you. It gets old. You start living vicariously through people around you. It's nothing like having a woman that you know loves you for you and experiencing through her eyes some of the things you do that are just random, normal to you. To see it through her eyes makes it even better. So I tell Kanal all the time, I like to do vacations for a reason because I've experienced a lot of stuff in my lifetime. So I really live through the people I take on trips with me, which is the woman that I care about, or a family member, or something like that. But I function better. I know me. Maybe you're different. I function better in a relationship when a woman can help enhance what I'm doing. Not she can make me, she can actually enhance what I'm doing better. So I get what Fearless is saying. Okay. A woman does enhance some of the things you do to where you feel like you can achieve more, because it's one less thing you have to worry about in the back of your head about who I'm going to lay down with when you already know what you got to lay down with. And that it's appreciative of what you do for your living, what you provide for them, and everything else. Yeah, you can pay a woman all day long. And yeah, you're paying her to do a service and she's going to walk the hell out. There's a certain level of appreciation that a man needs that you get only within a relationship.
Okay.
And you can deny that, but at the same time, you're looking for something in addition to just sex. Now, like I said, you could be different because you come from a different generation. Okay.
Yeah.
But for me, I function better in a relationship. And if I still had an opportunity, and I would still get into one more relationship before I die.
See, now,
even at 55, 56.
I'm never knocking that. I agree with you 100%. Everything works different for everybody. And it works different for everybody. And from my understanding, a lot of the stuff you guys keep saying, where it's so much different when if you pay for it. And I don't mean just giving cash. If you spend money, it's still paying for it. Bro, I don't know if you ever been with a Thai woman before, but I could have that same experience. Have you ever been with a Colombian woman? I can have that same experience if I have enough money. It does. See, what people are normally thinking that, oh, it's a transaction, and after the transaction, she runs off and says, oh, I don't want to be with him no more. But that's not always the case. The majority of the time, that's not the case. If you go to certain places like maybe Sosua, if you go to certain places at Cartagena, yes, that might be the things. That might be the case. But there's a lot of other places where you using your money to have a woman's time is a different experience. And guess what? She'll say, hey, baby, I noticed you're not looking right, and I want to make sure you're right. Even if it's just because you keep giving me the money I need to do what I want to do. I want to make sure you're right. So go check yourself at the doctor. Go check yourself at this place right here. And I'm going to take you. And if you don't speak Spanish, I'm going to speak Spanish. See, this is because a lot of, and I said this on a lot of black man travel. You was here when I said this before. A lot of you guys didn't start traveling until you were like 30, till you were like 40, till you were like 50. So you haven't grown up, in my perspective. I don't know. I'm not saying you guys, I'm saying a lot of guys that speak like this haven't started traveling until they were 30, 40, 50.
Traveling since I was 4 years old.
No, but it's a different experience if you're traveling on your own and traveling with your family. We're not considering that.
Then I was traveling again with the military. Then I started traveling again as
traveling with the military is different. It's not the same as traveling because the military trains your mind to be a certain way. Now I support all my military people, but there's a difference between traveling as a civilian and traveling as a military person. Now, back what I was saying, a lot of people haven't had the opportunity to see the world outside of the United States from a different lens because they didn't start when they were young, and by the time they started, they was already developed or brainwashed to be whoever they're going to be. And now, when you don't have that opportunity to have that open mind to think like that because you haven't started traveling at 18 around the United States or traveling around the world at 18 and started interacting, learning different languages, learning different cultures, learning how different perspectives of the United States from the outside, it's more difficult for you to develop a train of thought that's different than what everyone in the United States has been, which keeps the status quo going.
I agree with you there. That's why I encourage a lot of young people to travel.
I want to chime in. Well, just a point of reference, I started traveling at 18 on my own. This is no military. This is all me doing domestic travels. Then I moved on to overseas. But I wanted to chime in about this whole notion about, you know, the guys who are against bringing their SO, you know, their significant other from their countries back to the States. Most of the guys who are totally against it, again, the majority of them never had a relationship overseas. They going based on assumption. Two, I'm just noticing. I mean, just based on being within this travel space for quite a while, the ones that cried the most are the ones that never had a relationship, not even a successful relationship here domestically. So they're quick to force their own experience on others. But even then, they don't even have experience to push it on to others. They just say, hey, don't bring him over here. This is gonna happen. Like anything else, any relationship you try to foster and try to develop, there's a risk behind it. When you meet a new friend, there's a risk. When you develop a business relationship, there's a risk. So when people want to use probabilities, and again, I'm all about, you know, stats and everything else, but there's always a probability of failure of anything you do in life. Now, granted, if you don't take the time to vet the person that you're with, man or woman, then yes, the likelihood of that relationship actually working are slim to none. Correct. But again, a lot of people don't do that. They see, you know, a sexy smile, beautiful body, and that's it. They don't take the time to really vet that person. They don't take the time to learn the language, learn the culture, learn more about that woman behavior, and they assume that, hey, you know, is she gonna come? Is she gonna leave? Yeah, if she's gonna play. If she see a sucker, she's gonna play. It is what it is. But at the same time, not everyone operates in that manner. So the ones who are always quick to give advice and take on about why you should not do this or why you should not do that, they don't have no experience in that type of relationship, but they're quick to throw their 2 cents to it. I mean, right, that's just my take.
So would you take something? Would you take a pill if I told you it was 43% chance of you dying?
I mean, I wouldn't take the pill at all if the probability is that high.
All right. So would you take a pill that could save your life if there was a 53% chance of you dying? What about a 63% chance? What about a 73% chance of you not dying? If it was 100, if it was a 99% chance of you not dying, if you take this pill and it can help you stay alive, would you take the pill? You'll be more likely to as the percentage increases.
Yeah. So based on the probability methods, the higher the probability, I'll take it. However,
So based on what you said, so if the probability is less likely that it will work out, it makes more sense. And yes, it is always going to be, like you said, there's always going to be the chance. But what you're going to try, what is better to go for, in my opinion, because better is relative, is the higher probability that something will work out. The lower the probability, the less likely it makes sense to go for that. And that is the power of, oh my God, I'm gonna say I sound so chauvinist. That is the power of us men. Us men have the availability and the ability to control our emotions and think logically a lot better than a lot of women.
Right. This is my take. I'll never.
So logically, if you know the probability is going to be to a disadvantage for any man in marriage, obviously, because of the laws of the land and everything else, why, if you still wanted to be in a relationship, wouldn't you just get a prenup and just dead all the doubt that you have within that woman that you think might happen and protect your assets and your legacy for your children and just get a prenup?
Because when you get a prenup, that has nothing to do with what happens with your children. It doesn't.
Oh, it absolutely does.
No, not financial.
Prenup and a trust. You can control everything.
If you don't have children with the woman, you can't make a trust on the children, or you could change it once you have children. Yes, but guess what happens? That prenup that you signed before you got, I'm speaking as if you're having children after you get married. Now, if you got children already, that might be a little bit different, but I'm speaking as if you have children after you get married. Then you're going to get married, get the prenup. It's not going to include a child. You're going to have a child, and things are going to change.
So let me ask you this. All right, what would you advise a man who wants to get married? A young brother, he believes, you know what, being a single life, that's not for him. No. Hold up. Being a single life is not for him. That's not his personality. He doesn't want to go out there and bang multiple women. That's not his personality. He's an introvert. It's like, hey, I'm all right coming home eating oatmeal every single day. What would you advise him? Because if you're saying the probability of the likelihood of a marriage not lasting, what would you tell him?
I would say, young man, have you traveled the world? You've traveled the world.
Okay, what about he doesn't have no interest to travel the world? Like, no, that's not for me.
Well, I would say, young man, how can you make a decision about your life if you don't know all the options?
There are some people who are okay living a basic, regular life.
No,
and I've met them. Go ahead.
Right, but basic and regular has nothing to do with knowing all your options.
I think what Flyboy is saying is that there's a risk assessment that I think that he's really hyper focused on. And I believe for some people, it's always going to be the reward is greater than the risk. Like, we're willing to risk it. I think if I misquote you, Phil, it's that you're willing to, if you have to part ways from your wife, you're willing to pay that cost. But I think the reward of your marriage is worth it.
And I say I'm
not in it because I'm just saying observation. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, there's school shootings, so I shouldn't go to school. Or do I just make sure my child goes to more exclusive school where that stuff don't happen? People get shot in Chicago over the weekend, 10, 13 at a time. But those people ain't on my millionaire roll. So it matters where you at. So if I come to marriage, people get divorced. But have those people vetted? Have they looked at the person? What percentage of those people have really went into marriage in a whole different light? So if you take all the percentages, it looks bad. It's just like if you say, what's the percentage of men in the United States that make so much money? But I'm not part of that percentage. I'm in the higher percentage. So
I think we're missing a key point. I think we're missing a key point, especially Flyboy. I think you're missing a key point too. A lot of men, besides for being protective providers, want to leave a legacy. They want to carry on their name. You have your legacy laying right behind you right now. Had you not met a woman to have that legacy, now you're being protective of that legacy by protecting your assets. I get where you're coming from, but at the end of the day, a lot of men still want to reproduce. They still want some type of woman that's going to be trustworthy. You can't pay for that all the time. Okay.
Wait. What does that have to do with getting married, though?
So, Flyboy, let me ask you a
contract. You want to have contract babies now. This is what we're talking about. But then you say a prenup is not going to work. So now you're missing out on the point. You're going to have a child with a woman you can't trust, and you can't put nothing in a legal document to protect yourself from that asset or your liability from hurting you in the long run. For everything you worked so hard for, when you die, they're not going to take any kind of consideration to it. And I can tell you this right now, as a father of millennials, the hard work that I put in right now as a legacy, if I don't set up a trust, they're not going to appreciate a damn thing of what I did to build that legacy for them if I don't put it in the trust. They'll run it into the ground and they won't have it one generation after I leave.
So I got a question for you. What do you teach your son? Meaning, and I say this because, and this is no dig on you, so please don't take offense to anything I say. If your son constantly sees you with different women, or know that you're dating, and does not see a mother figure, what's the difference in a woman having a whole bunch of different men, and her daughter does not see her as a mother figure? So how are you raising your son to interact with women?
Okay, so the base thought is that women and men are different emotionally. Emotionally, men have more control over a lot of stuff they do. That's just the base thought of reality.
Right.
Human
That's
physics.
not even disputable.
So with that being said, my son still sees his mother. He still hangs out with his mother. That's still what it is. But I am the person who controls what he does, what school he goes to, where he goes to eat, where he does that. The reason why is because it has been proven that children that are raised in a man's family have a less probability of getting locked up, have a more possibility of being more successful, who is raised in a single father home versus a single mother home. That's
same statistics.
But I think you're missing the point.
Family.
Look up.
I think you're missing the point. The point I'm saying is children don't do what you say, they do what you do.
Oh, but see, that's the thing.
It doesn't matter. Like you said, it doesn't matter the statistics.
This is
what are you teaching your son about being a man and a husband?
I teach. I don't have to teach. I don't teach him that because, like I said, I don't believe in the marriage thing. I teach him to be who you want to be, and I show him how to get there. I give him the basic necessities he has to choose. Now, if he chooses to be married and have a wife, I'm going to say, hey, protect yourself by doing this. But hey, other than that, go give it a try. That's your option. But I'm going to also
You teaching to have a kid out of wedlock? That's a worse decision.
See, no, it's not, because you get married, you don't know how the woman is after you have a kid. If the woman completely changes after you have a kid, and now not only you getting have a marriage issue, but you have a marriage and alimony and a child support issue all with the same situation, it's a little bit more difficult than having a kid with a woman, seeing how she is, and then moving on to a marriage. If that's
that's almost like saying you get a divorce when your child is year one.
You said what?
That's like saying, my wife got pregnant, then we got a divorce, and my kid is little.
But you do know a lot of women get pregnant, have a kid, go through postpartum, and then get divorced because or separate from the person they was with, because them women with a child are different than women without a child. They react different, they live different. The whole situation, it's even different when they move in with you. So to just go to getting a wife and dedicating all that stuff to that before you know how she's going to be without having your child. I'm not just a different perspective. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying logically, to me, it makes more sense. It doesn't mean it's right. It just makes more sense to know how you're going to be as a woman before.
On that statement right there, Flyboy, I'm going to agree with you, because I stopped my second wife from having a child because I knew she couldn't mentally handle having a child, and I was going to wind up being stuck with either child support or another child at my age, and I didn't want one. So I agree with you there.
I would say this. I would say this real quick. And Flyboy, your stats is right and all that good stuff, but to me it seems like you're harping too much on fear. It's like, oh well, this is gonna happen. It's always the worst case scenario.
It's not. I know.
I know. Hold on, let me finish. And I know sometimes, man, we always have to plan for the worst case scenario, but there is no risk-free way to get to a marriage. There is going to be some risk involved. And like you stated earlier, that you would tell your son, if he wants to get married, you'll teach him how to protect himself. But I think the reward, I don't think you're grasping the reward portion of the marriage than just what you can pay for. There's a component that there's no amount of money can compensate for the way that we experience Fearless Wife on this trip. And that's only from an external point of view. Like, we don't know what's going on internal, but it just made every I don't know how better to say it, how she quantified every moment of that trip amazingly. That you say, yeah, you can pay someone to do that, but it's not the same. No one, I don't think any man would ever choose a girl that's legit interested in him with something that you have to pay for experience. That's not in day. That's not the same thing. It might be the same action, but it's not the same experience.
I mean, so I think it's like a big difference. Like, even if you are participating, pay for play or whatever, there's a difference when a woman want to have sex with you because she desires you and she wants to be with you, versus someone that you're leaving $40 on the table for. So it's just like, I mean, I'm just using that as an example. There's always a difference. You could pay for a service, it could be a tour guide, whatever, but it's a big difference when someone genuinely want to make sure that you taken care of, making sure that you out there seeing the country or whatever, or just domestically or overseas. There's a big difference when someone wants to do it genuinely in their heart. Like, they want to see you smile. It's a big difference.
I know you can pay for the girlfriend experience and all that, but there is a distinct difference.
So I mean, my thing is this. My thing is this, and again, I think I want to definitely move on away from the topic.
Yeah.
You have a lot of guys who are chiming in about what not to do domestic or overseas with no experience at all. So when a guy say, "Hey, don't do this," I'm like, "Bro, have you traveled? No. Have you experienced any type of relationship? No. So who are you to give any advice to anybody? You're going based on what other people are saying that never experienced it. So for me, if you do decide to find someone they feel like, hey, you want to build something with, go ahead and explore it. I'm domestic or overseas. I'm not against it. But again, you have a lot of guys telling, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Let's keep it real. Most guys are not making over $100,000, especially black men. Most black men are making about $30,000 to $45,000 a year. Most black men don't even have savings. Let's speak facts here. Most black men don't have a trust. Most black men don't have health insurance.
And most black men also think that you should get married. There's a link to all that.
No, well, I mean, I don't know, because most black men, they want to do the right thing. Because most black men were raised by a single parent home, so they want to be there for their child. So they're willing to stick around to hopefully make things work. But then again, sometimes your behavior may speak otherwise. But the thing is, we need to stop positioning like we have a lot to lose when most black men don't have a dollar to piss on, and they just keep it real.
Hold on. Kanal just acknowledged that most men are traditional, by the way. He just acknowledged that by his statement saying that most black men want to get married and take care of their child. So just want to put that back at you, Kanal, you agree to that same point.
Insanity. You know what insanity is? Is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome. This thought process that you're saying now, that you're all talking about now, is literally insanity. It's doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different outcome. What I'm doing is something different. When I'm showing you something different.
For that to be true, every woman has to be the same, and that's
no. For that to be true, the majority of marriages have to fail. That's all it has to take. Hold on. All that takes is the majority of marriages to fail, and over time for that have been happening, and it has. You're expecting the same outcome. You're expecting a different outcome. You're expecting everything to go perfect, but you're doing the same thing that your parents did, your grandparents did, your great-grandparents did, your great-great-grandparents did, and you're expecting a different outcome. You see, I feel as though technology has broken that for us, and it's hard. It's going to be very difficult for anyone that wasn't really into technology to be able to see the whole world and see how the world is as they were growing up, to adjust, to know that if I go to school in Florida, Miami, and the teacher says, you know what, slavery helped black people, but I can go right on the internet and find out this was not what slavery was like. So now I can go back to that teacher and say, that's not right. That's only what you believe. That's what they've been teaching, but that's not the truth. That's not the truth being what is more worldly accepted as the way that things went. The perspective of the world being more inclusive. And this is what I'm saying. What's happening, which has been happening, is that black men, white men, United States citizen men have been literally insane when it comes to how to date, how to have kids, how to be married. Because guess what? This cycle keeps continuing over and over again, and there's a reason why. But it's going to be harder for you guys to see because, again, I'm a younger person. I had, at a younger age, internet was existed. So it's a different perspective, but I'm just saying that
he basically got deprogrammed a lot quicker than we did.
Yeah.
There you go.
I need you to be like a translator or something, man.
All right, so I'm gonna do this.
On that note, we're gonna wrap up. We're gonna wrap up that particular topic. We're gonna move on to something else. All right, go ahead, Kanal.
No, I wanted to close out that particular topic. Then we're gonna move on to the next topic. Fearless. So, Fearless, what's your take on what everyone just said around the whole notion about bringing your woman back to the States?
You got to choose right. You can't live in fear. You can't always think something bad is going to happen. If I've done that, I would have never taken the risk that I did to, move jobs, move cities, all of that. So it's always about your choice and making sure you choose the right woman. Look for the red flags, and you'll be successful.
All right. So, we're gonna move on to our third topic, our final topic, and I know this is something that Trini was actually having a heated conversation at the rooftop party last night.
It wasn't a heated conversation.
And man, you had them 4 women on, in their feelings, man. So go ahead and share that topic.
All right. So, I mean, this somehow we got into value. We were talking about good qualities in a man and good qualities in a woman. And this chick started off with God-fearing. And I'm like, do you think you are accessible to a God-fearing man? Do you think you hang around where God-fearing men are at? Or are you in a place where God-fearing men can find you? And she just went on and on and on about God-fearing. I was like, do you even go to church? I don't have to go to church to find a God-fearing man. They're going to find me wherever I am. So that's where the topic was. And I'm
sound like she's in the manifest destiny already.
Yeah, because I'm like, she was. I'm like, you're passively dating and want a God-fearing man, and you have no qualities of something a God-fearing man would want. Because we're over here in a rooftop party where people are shaking their ass. I'm like, you think you're gonna find a God-fearing man among these people here?
And literally,
You
they
know what
were
I'm
shaking
saying?
their asses up in that rooftop. So, guys, so the topic is, it, Trini, what is it again? I know that's something that you.
It's more of, are black women delusional with this sense of fake religion and fake religiousness? Because
Just
they
said it
always
right there,
mention
delusional.
oh, he needs to believe in Jesus, he needs to be God fearing. But we recently saw this video that went viral when the pastor says, and to obey your husband, and she couldn't even say that. You know, they want the marriage, but they want the marriage, they want the religion, but they don't want to actually do what is required of said religion.
No, the women. I'll butt in. The women like a buffet. They just pick and choose what parts of the Bible they go with them. I pointed out to somebody, they were talking about, it says no gay people or man shouldn't lie with man. And I said, well, in Leviticus, it says you shouldn't eat lobster. And you eat lobster. You can't just pick what you want. And so when I hear women saying it's a God-fearing, it's that, usually what happens is they only want to pick the parts that best suit them.
Equally yoked. Jesus Christ. If I get $1 for every time I heard someone say equally yoked. And still order bacon.
My first question to you was, did any of those women have children?
She looked a little thick. I don't know, man. She was one of your people's canal. She was Haitian. She looked a little chubby.
I think she was single.
Wow.
She could have been single and been a single mom.
You think that God took her home?
First, if you're a God-fearing woman, you shouldn't have children out of wedlock. If you want to go with the Bible, go with the whole Bible.
Yeah, but they usually find
I know she wasn't with the whole
They
Bible.
usually find God afterwards.
Are they pure? Are they chaste? There's a whole bunch of things that go along with the Bible. That's why it comes down to women pick and choose what they want to believe in the Bible. And the pastors support it because they don't down talk some of the things they're doing in the church, because pastors, they're catering towards the women because they're the ones that are in the church now. Most men have already left the church for a reason.
And that's what I was trying to explain. So I was like, when you say, God is head of the household, you actually mean the pastor. So if you guys have a disagreement, you want to run to the pastor or run to who you think is, the Bible, and say, this person can overrule you. I don't have to listen to you. I can listen to the pastor. I listen to the Bible. That's how it sounds like. It's a built-in subterfuge of, I'm probably the wrong word, of authority in the home.
Fly boy, any thoughts on that?
I'm trying to find a way to
just say it.
To answer this without.
Say it the way you want to say it. There's no blaspheming up in here. We ain't in no church. You can say whatever the fuck you want to say.
You know what? Let me say, I'll let Flyboy gather his thoughts. This whole notion about God-fearing men is just bullshit. I mean, most of the time when women say that, I always question it, like, what do you mean by God-fearing? Does he have to go to church? Does he have to be, does he have to be praying? Like, I don't understand when they say that. So
it's typically after they've already gone through every thug.
Yeah, and it's just like, when they said, it's like, well, there's nothing about you that's God-fearing. You're cussing like a sailor. I mean, you're doing all type of dumb shit. But yeah, at the same time, you want a guy to be God-fearing. It's like, well, you're not doing anything that's even closely relatable to the Bible if you are following it. So and when people say that, it's kind of like a default. It's like a drawback. Hey, I want a God-fearing man. Okay, what does that actually means when you say that?
But God-fearing men come with rules, though. That's what I was trying to explain to us. You don't even know what a God-fearing man look like, how he dress, what school he goes to, what jobs do he tend to gravitate to, what kind of car does he drive, what neighborhood he lives in. You don't even have a proper stereotype in your head of what a God-fearing man is.
He definitely ain't gonna be in that club.
Definitely not. Go ahead, Flyboy.
All right, I'm trying to, man. You know, it always get itchy when it comes to religion. 2000 and what's today? August 13th, 2023. If right now I write down, and I'm a big person who has dictionaries and stuff, and I write down that this is the color red. Right now, everybody goes by saying this is the color red. But we know, because we know that red has always been.
We're gonna find red.
I gotta find
You
some
gotta
red.
go find it.
Red,
You can use
Red
any other color.
red has always been this. This has always been red. But on August 13th,
You changed
I've
the
told
color
you.
to that.
2023, I've told you that this, and we've all started saying that this is red, but red has always been this color. We do know that Egyptians existed before the Bible, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Egyptians didn't live by the Bible, right?
No.
And we also know that the world existed before the Bible, right? So
Yeah.
there was other places around the world. There was Asia. There was different parts of Africa. There was the United States, well, the North America. There was Australia. There was Antarctica. How can you feel like basing your beliefs on something that just comes in the middle of something that was already there? So, again, to say you're looking for a God-fearing man, you're basing your thoughts on what was accepted by the people at the time, King James and everyone else, that allowed it to go on because it worked for them.
Well, no, you got to go to the Ethiopian Bible first.
We can go, but we can go. You see what I'm saying? But when the King James version changed, that made a whole new Bible than it was before.
And they changed the narrative when they changed the Bible.
You see what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
so for a woman, for a person to say, "Hey, you're putting that much faith in how you live your life based on something that is not the first of its kind, rather than what's logically right in front of you," then we can't even have a conversation because what you're doing is illogical.
But women have always been illogical.
Yeah, I
How
was
can
just
you
gonna
have
say
a
that.
Bible story when you're in? Wait, let me go back to the beginning. You have Adam and Eve.
Mhm.
Eve was literally born out of Adam's rib. So the Bible quotes.
Okay.
Okay. God tells you to do one thing. Don't touch one plant. Don't touch the fruit from one tree. All it took Eve to do, knowing God, seeing all-powerful God, listen to Satan one time, tell you a story like, nah, don't believe him, he's lying. And she fucking bites the fucking apple. Now you looking at the man that created you, and you're gonna go against everything he fucking told you, and you're gonna bite the apple anyway because of one person telling you not to believe him? So that shows you right there that women always had an attitude of doubting anybody else but themselves. Straight from the top.
Again, I would just say, even to break it down in simple terms for them, a God-fearing man can't be described because the situation is indescribable. You're going by something that's been changed over time. So just find the guy. I would tell them, just focus on the guy that you want. Don't focus on the guy that you feel as though is acceptable by society standards. Focus on works for you. So that's what I would have told the women if they were at.
They definitely do that. But the thing with me was like that was the first thing she said. Oh, he has to be God-fearing. Then she went on this whole tangent of a list. But that to me stuck out to me is like that's the number one thing that you want from a man is to be God-fearing.
But the
I
whole
just
point
find that
is
very
women
odd.
never believed God from the beginning, so why does it matter?
Then you get what I'm saying,
Well-
right? You got it. Whoever said that.
Women never believed God from the beginning, so why do you want a God-fearing man when you guys didn't even fear God and you still went and bit into the fucking apple? So
Translate.
why are you asking for something that you even ignored having it right there in the Garden of Eden? Started from the jump.
That's what when I asked her, she went to
Disregarded
church. She's like,
anything from God.
she's like, oh, I don't have to go to church. I was like, oh, so where do you expect to find
Again,
this God-fearing man? He's
You want a
gonna
God-fearing
find
man and you
he's
don't
gonna-
believe God yourself. So
he's
what the
gonna
fuck?
find me. So I'm like, okay, so where are you gonna put yourself to be found by this God-fearing man.
Sprinkle,
Oh,
sprinkle.
in
Manifest
the
destiny.
supermarket. Yo, did you hear Kanos? She was like in the supermarket, in the gas station. That was her plan to find a God-fearing man.
See, but when somebody asks you that, what you have to do is turn the question around. You say, well, what values do you have that would attract a God-fearing man? See, when you do something like that, they can't handle it. When you switch that whole question and say, okay, you want a God-fearing man, what values do you have? Are you this type of woman, this type of woman, this type of woman? Because that's what a God-fearing woman would be. Are you letting me lead? Are you going to be submissive? And if her attitude changes, then you're like, yeah, see, you want a God-fearing man, but you want to be a Jezebel. That don't work out.
They don't want the rules.
The times are different now. Well, women can go out and make their own money. He should be happy I'm out there making money. Why?
Hey, I have one bonus question I want to talk about, and then we already hit the 2-hour mark, but I wanted to get you guys chime in on this because we do have a lot of listeners right now.
Check.
How would you advise today men, especially younger men, how to maneuver in today's dating scene? Because like a lot of you guys are 35 and older. So what tips would you give a younger man that wants to explore dating, domestic or overseas? What advice or tip would you give him to actually do?
Wait,
that?
hold on. You got to add a goal to that. Is he dating to date or is he dating to be married?
Well, he's dating to find someone. Like, let's say he's like, I want to find a girlfriend, and, I want to have a relationship. What advice would you give him? Okay. And how to maneuver in today's dating market, domestic or overseas?
First, I would tell the brother the most important decade is your 20s. From 18 to 30, don't even focus on women. Don't have anything serious. Don't go there. Improve yourself.
Facts. Because
Chris Rock said it best. What is it? You can always get a chick by chasing money, but you can never get money by chasing chicks. So chase the money. Make sure that you are in you bring in value. And once you get to that level, I think things will become easier because you'll make sure that you won't bring a woman that has drama. That you won't date a woman who is like, I don't have nothing to lose, because if she has nothing to lose, she'll take everything from you. Change your social area. The people that you grew up with at 18 are not the people you want at 25 and not the people that you're going to be around at 30.
Facts.
That whole circle needs to change. Then also start being around, watch married couples. Because then you can see the type of woman that you may want to strive for and put yourself in those type of situations. I used to date girls that was drama because I thought drama was good. And then the more money I made, I said, man, this girl would take everything I got off of just an accusation. I can't do it. So if I would not have dated, and I think you will have a more appreciation if you focus more on yourself and then women second. That's my advice.
All right. Flyboy? I know Flyboy got a good one.
The first guy said a great thing. So I'll just say, listen, know your budget. When it comes to women, know your budget. Because you will never get upset if it falls within your budget. If I date a woman and it costs me $500 a month to be with her, if I got that $500, she'll never be mad. If it costs me $1,000, if I got that $1,000, she'll never be mad. Know your budget. A lot of issues start with men wanting things that's not in their budget. You want a woman in Sosua who you can have as one of your teammates, one of your girls, but she requires you to, send her $300 a month, and she requires you to be there four times a month. That's your budget. Your budget is being there 4 times a month. So don't go for that woman who requires you to be there 3 times every month and requires a $2,000 budget, because it's out your budget. Guys get hurt the most when they date outside of their budget.
I agree. Hey, Roland?
Man, Those are all great comments. The only thing I can add to it is protect yourself. You know, if you're gonna have sex, protect yourself. If you're gonna have a kid, make sure whoever you're having a kid with is somebody you can deal with as far as co-parenting, because y'all ain't gonna be together. Okay, so if you're wanting a legacy, make sure if you're gonna pick a person to have your kid, that person's gonna be around and you can get along with them. Or put a Jimmy hat on. Stop running around here, you know, shooting up the damn town and not expecting a negative result after a while. You know, at the end of the day, make your money. Women will come to you when you're making money. You don't, like he said, you don't have to go and look for women. Women will find you. All you have to do is focus on building your assets, and they're going to find you. Vet the women that you're with. Vet the women. Give them little tests. Just like women test you, you should be testing them. You should be reading their reactions to things that you do or don't do and see if they're going to voluntarily want to help you. You don't have to do everything. If they care for you, they're going to want to lend to it. They're going to want to add to what you have. That's a good woman. A woman that just wants to take and not give anything in return and not appreciate the things you've done up to that point. Try this. If you're dating somebody right now and you've always put out, say, yo, I'm a little short. Can you help me out? See what they say. Look at their facial expressions. Read them.
What about you, Trini?
I'm gonna try to keep it short. I would say put yourself first. Put yourself first all the time. And I realized that times in life where situations I had could have been better if I had put myself first. And I'm sorry, she has to be second. She has to be second to your purpose, to your job, to whatever you got going on, to whatever direction that you want. Do not pedestalize, I'm choosing the wrong word. Do not pedestalize women at all. They are second to everything you else got going on. Unless you guys are married or something else, or you guys, are having a kid or something, then I would say change the priority. But until then, she comes second.
Yeah. And as for me, I'll say this, man. I'm 45 years old now. I made a lot of bad mistakes in my 20s. A lot. I respect brothers like, Flyboy, Trini. You guys are definitely the guys are coming in and really teaching these guys how to actually maneuver properly with proper investments. What I'll tell my younger self, focus on you 100%. That's it. Don't make poor decisions. Don't lead by lust. Don't lead by emotions. Invest in yourself. Go all in. Make sure that you surround yourself with people who are smarter than you, that know more than you, and take chances. It's easy to take more risk when you don't have a child. So live your best life. Start traveling early so you can get that out of your system in your 30s and 40s. And it's okay to be selfish, man. It's okay. Don't let anyone shame you from being selfish. Especially you don't have a child, you don't have any major responsibilities, because the thing is, you don't want to be in your 40s where you literally starting with nothing. So just make right decisions and just be mindful who you fuck with. That's it. And just like my uncle used to tell me, every person you decide to sleep with, there's a possibility that you could get that person pregnant. Mm-hmm. And you deal with that person for the next 21 years. So with that being said,
children. Early.
With that being said, I just want to take a time, like, really, guys, we're on this panel with brothers who've been traveling the world, that covered every continent on this planet right now. I just realized, like, man, we got brothers that literally covered every continent across this globe, and we're out there putting in work, go out there experiencing, sharing best practice and tips. Make sure you take the time to subscribe to them. Subscribe to Fearless. Subscribe to Flyboy. Subscribe to Roland. Subscribe to Trini. And listen to what these guys have to say, man. It's a lot of wealth of knowledge. These guys are not just talking just for the sake of talking. These guys have hands-on experience, foot on the ground, tons of wealth of knowledge. Reach out to them, man. And again, we want to see you guys win overseas because all we're doing is just passing the torch. We're just passing the torch, passing the knowledge so you guys can be successful while you're out there, domestic and overseas. So with that being said, it's been over 2 hours. I want Trini. This is Trini First Live, guys. If you guys have not subscribed to Trini channel, make sure you follow him on his YouTube channel. And I want to give Trini the platform to actually close it out. Trini, you're on the floor, man.
I don't even know if I know how to do this. First of all, thanks. I want to big shout out to Black Man Travels. You know what I mean? Like we starting a a bromance, if you will. You know what I mean? We met in Thailand. You know what I mean?
He was talking a lot of shit in Cuba, though.
We met in Atlanta. And then we ended up going to Cuba. So we've been across, some continents. You know what I mean? The Caribbean. You know what I mean? And we got a little wager to get a boxing match in. A little sparring. We're gonna make that happen. We're gonna try to stream it. You know what I mean? But yeah, he's been great. He's been showing me around this. This is an experiment for me to figure out how this platform thing works. Even just highlighting people and setting it up. Like he called me today. He's like, "Yo, what you doing?" Because I'm not doing nothing. I have some time. Let's do a live right now to prepare for our live next week when we talk about all things Cuba. All right. So big shout out to him for just giving me that time, giving his time because he's about to start a new position next week. So he's like, "Yo, let me do this now." Because things are gonna be a little bit hectic for me in the upcoming months. He got a lot of things going on. You know what I mean? So definitely shout out to him. All right. I want to shout out Fearless. I want to shout out Fearless' wife. Great time in Cuba. Great insight. I learned a lot from them just being around them. And also with their channel as well. And just the way that his wife was like directing things and like send me some ill pictures that I would never ever think to have took. It wasn't for her insisting too. She had to pull me, begging and screaming to take a picture, and it came out great. So definitely shout out to both of you guys. Definitely shout out to Flyboy. I definitely checked out the channel based on the other live before going to Cuba. Ronan, as usual, your perspective, been through a lot. You bring a lot to the table, just your experience alone, being in the military, being married, being a well-known traveler. So with that, guys, I'm closing it out. I don't know, Kanal, did I miss anything?
No, you good, man. You did a good job, man. I just want to say, definitely shout out to each and every one of you guys. I appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to the podcast, joining the conversation. I mean, again, just looking at the 5 brothers right now on this platform, we literally covered the entire continent, the entire country. Not country, globe.
Who been to Australia?
I have.
There we go. All right.
Australia, New Zealand.
Well, the real question is, has anyone been to Antarctica yet? Black Boy, you been there yet? Antarctica yet? You planning to make moves out there?
Iceland. That's pretty much it, ain't it?
I got a quick question, real quick. Hey, Trini, you've seen Black Man Travels in person, right?
Yes, sir.
So, what's the handicap gonna be for the boxing match?
Is there a weight difference or what? I mean, aren't you all the same size?
Whoa, it's a weight difference. It's a height difference. It's a reach difference. There's an age. It's like a 10-year age difference. There's
That's
an
the only thing that's going to
difference.
save you is his age. But if he's in good shape, he already outclassed you.
Nah. Cuba already proved that he's not in good shape.
Nah. I was drinking.
That's why.
Hey, see the level of disrespect.
Right there.
Hey, no, I was drinking too much, man. I was drinking too much rum and not enough water. That shit caught up with me when I got back home. Man, so I was dehydrated like a mug. But it's all good, man. He honestly, Trini's like a little brother, man.
I was in the gym.
He's like a little brother. Yeah, but yeah, we're gonna get it in, man. We're gonna definitely get it in, man. But definitely, guys, thank you so much for taking the time to participate in the podcast. And again, we're gonna actually have a good one next week. And just want to say, man, guys, have a blessful, productive week, and talk to you guys soon, man. Appreciate the love.
Yeah, man. Appreciate
it, guys. Have a good one.
All right, guys.
Anywhere in the world, literally, because we all travelers, but you're here with us.
Even China. Been to China too.
We was all over.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
Peace.